Guys, welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to go through a couple of tips and pointers for becoming a reseller. I've started reselling about 2 years ago, back in the summer of 2023. And this year, especially for 2024, I've learned a lot. I have grown a lot, and I know what to do and what not to do. So I want to give you guys a couple of pointers on how to get started if you aren't a reseller yet and you're planning to, or if you are already a reseller but you're kind of not sure how to really be efficient at it. Tip number one on how to get started: the most important thing is to ask yourself, what do you want to sell? And I don't mean it like, don't just sell a product that has crazy margins. Of course, reselling has a lot to do with money, right? Because that's why we do it. We make an income off of it. But it can either be a full-time job or a side hustle. But at least in my opinion, a rule of thumb: resell what you're passionate about. Resell something that isn't so hard to obtain, but also you enjoy what you're delivering out to whoever buys, right? For me, it's video games specifically. It's something I grew up on. It's fun. They don't make it anymore, and it's a thrill always. There's a lot of history behind it. But for you guys, there's plenty of things to find out there: clothing, comic books, tools, wholesale food. Whatever you guys find out there that you guys want to do it. So that's my tip number one. Find what you want to resell. That is super important. Tip number two: catch on to the trends in the market. So you'll find a lot of things don't really sell. A lot of things are novelties, right? Let's just say people don't really buy vinyl records anymore. People don't really buy DVDs anymore. But you stumble upon a huge community based off of rock records, heavy metal, Metallica, those kind of DVDs and records, hip hop, rap, all that old school vintage stuff, right? But the newer stuff doesn't sell. Stick to those trends in the market, because you will most likely be very successful when you sell something. Don't just buy anything just because it falls in that certain genre. Find out what's trending, what's the most popular item at the time, especially for video games, right? For me, the Sonic movie just released, Shadow the Hedgehog, all the Sonic games, everything has shot up in value significantly, at least by 30% margins. When Wolverine and Deadpool came out, the Wolverine Origins price doubled in value. So just in order to be efficient and very proactive in what you're doing, find out and kind of forecast what's coming out and make sure you get those deals early, right? Tip number three: figure out how you will source your product. This is extremely important, especially for resellers. What we do, we buy hand-me-downs, we buy what people consider garbage, right? We pick through a lot. We go to flea markets, storage units, things like that. Figure out what's best for you to source. Me specifically, I know a lot of store owners, right? I follow a lot of people on Instagram who provide private deals, claim sales, and flea markets especially, right? A storage unit probably wouldn't be in my favor for what I find, but figure out how easy it will be for you, right? Okay, cool. You want to sell a little bit of everything, right? A storage unit has a lot of stuff, but it can also be a lot of garbage, right? Mugs, cups, old food. I've seen a lot of videos on those kind of things, right? Just a lot of garbage, a lot of stained clothes, messed up shoes, etc. Just because it's not hard to find something in those kind of things, put into consideration that the labor will also be a huge factor. So for me, also, traveling as a reseller, just know you are going to do a lot of traveling. Not every place you go to will always be an immediate find, right? It's a gamble, and it's a lot of investment in your time. So figure out what's the best way to get your stuff. Tip number four: if you do have suppliers, make sure you build an amazing relationship with them. Let them know your intentions, let them know what you're buying, right? Let them, for example, flea market vendors, if they buy all these storage units, right, and it's filled with a little bit of everything, that person will know that you buy that category of items, and they may hold on to it for you or hit you up immediately to provide you a good deal. When you establish relationships like that, sourcing won't be as hard, and the product will come to you. So that is very important. Continue to talk to these vendors, continue to grow relationships, and your life would just be much more easier. Tip number 5: reinvest in your sales. Especially if you're just starting out, you want to get more items at a time, right? The opportunities for you to buy bigger bulk deals in whatever you're buying will be much more easier when you have more capital in your bank. When you sell something, I would highly suggest you don't just spend it, right? Put a certain percentage on the side so you can keep adding up that capital. Eventually, you will turn $2,000 into $4,000. That $4,000, if you reinvested in it, it will turn to $8,000, etc. Right? Of course, that won't always be the case, but when you're buying, make sure you know what your margins are. Very strict. Just like stocks, you take a certain percentage of what you want to buy. If it's too low, it may not be worth buying because you got to put in the labor. How long is it going to take to sell? Stuff like that. And on top of that, right, with margins, know where you want to sell your item at. Either you want to be a flea market vendor, you want to be an Amazon seller, eBay, Mercari, or even whatnot. Know what your business model will be and put into consideration what the fees will be, taxes. When you're buying something, those margins are very important. How fast will your item take to sell? Whatnot, auctions. You want to sell $1 items on bids every 10 seconds. As long as you could find those items for that cheap in such a significant amount, you definitely won't be struggling with that. But definitely the platform that you choose to sell on will be a huge factor because there are faster ways than others. Those are my tips into how to get started in reselling, or probably even be a better reseller, right? If you guys haven't really thought too hard about it, right? You just take it as a side hustle, whatever. Yes, it's general, but the simplicity of it will make you a better reseller in the end of the day. Now, with that being said, 2025 for us, right? Though she got deals. I am going to get into Amazon, and at the moment, I am currently signing up in the process. So on that note, for 2025, though she got deals, is going to get into Amazon selling. At the moment, it's been Mercari and it's been eBay. But looking at my peers, a lot of people have been giving me some advice. Amazon's margins are just a lot better than what you would sell for on those two platforms. So I want to jump into it. Furthermore, when I get into the Amazon selling and I figure out what's best for my business, I want to create a buy list of very specific games that you guys can send to me as viewers, as people who want to just make a quick buck, who go hunting, stuff like that. I know a lot of the other YouTubers do it, a lot of other business owners do it, but I want to provide that as well. It'll help me out. That's the plan. I want to have all that situated. eBay, Mercari, it's been good, but I know on Amazon I can just make a lot more money on specific games. Also, me and Anthony have been talking about a project. We're not going to say exactly what it is, but let's just say that as a business owner, I don't only want to rely on retail products. I want to build something that will be super fun for you guys. You guys can talk about it with your friends. I hope it's going to blow up, but I'll keep you guys in tune with that since it's 2025 now. We're going to start working on it, start planning it, and in time we will let you guys know what the details are. So just stay tuned for that. And on the last note, with 2024, we're being such a huge year for us, for me, for Anthony. We did not think that this YouTube thing would be as good as it is now in such a short amount of time. We started our channel back in late October, and our first video came out in November, uh, pushing into December when we went viral. A year later, we're at 1,360 plus subs, which is crazy
Yeah.
on how fast that whole thing has begun. At a certain point, we weren't uploading. Well, we were uploading like once every 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was very inconsistent. We would cancel some stuff thinking it wouldn't affect us in any way. But since then, we grew out of that. And it actually, like, it showed a lot of progress. It worked out.
And we're going to continue to work on different sponsorships, partner up with a lot of small business owners. We're going to continue to do traveling, right? As long as we can afford it, we're going to do our best to make content for you guys. And also, the Amazon thing will allow us to generate more money in terms of spending, traveling. The income will be much more better. So you'll see us traveling to probably Texas, to Siege. We're going to SoCal this year for sure. So stay tuned for June. But there'll be just a lot more opportunity for us to make content for you guys, which is obviously what you guys want to see, because who doesn't love watching someone else spend money by the thousands, right? But we just want to thank you guys for supporting this channel. And we have met a lot of people this year who support our cause and who understand how hard we're working. We've made this an obligation to push out content every Sunday at 10 a.m. And even if we don't have anything planned, even if we're sick, we get out there. Even if it means sitting down on this couch at home because the weather has been so horrible for hunting, we'll do something to put out for you guys. And eventually we'll start branding out a little bit more. Hopefully you could find some clothing fashion designers, right? We could push out some merch, something simple, affordable.
It's definitely one of the plans. Definitely one of the plans for this year.
You know, but besides that, yeah, man, on a final note, thank you all. Hope your 2024 was great. And let's see how far we can push for 2025. Plug in Nostalgia with Doshi. I'll catch you all later.